The Common Core is not just standards. It includes the assessments. It includes in the No Child Left Behind waiver, tying the teacher evaluations to the tests. It includes a statewide longitudinal database that must be, under the grant documents, interoperable with other state agencies and with other states. I have serious concerns about the data issues. The contract that we have with our testing company does not prevent them from using our student data any way they see fit. There are no legal prohibitions against it. And they cover probably 20 some odd subsidiary organizations. So once you collect data, it's out there. The standards themselves, the math standards, Fordham Institute or Fordham Foundation does a review of the standards, and our math standards from 2007, which were barely adopted and implemented before the state board jumped on the Common Core bandwagon. This is what Fordham said of those previous standards. Utah's standards are exceptionally well presented and easy to read and understand. The high school content is exceptionally rigorous. They are beautifully presented and generally both clear and specific. Utah's standards are briefly stated, making them easier to read and follow than the Common Core. In addition, the high school content is organized so that standards addressing specific topics are grouped together in a mathematically coherent way. The organization of the Common Core is more difficult to navigate. They rated the Common Core standards an A-. They rated Utah's 2007 standards an A-. We got nothing in the bargain. So I believe the process was flawed. I believe the standards are subpar. Our English standards were less rigorous than the Common Core standards, supposedly, but you have Massachusetts, Indiana, in short, you have 13 other states we could have chosen from that would have been equally as good or better. So yes, there are so many things that I'm opposed to, but the primary reason is that parents were completely left out of that process. When I asked about it, I was told that if this had not been 30 states coming together, then we, the citizens of Utah, would have been consulted and canvassed more for our input in the standards. But because they were common standards, our input was not needed and was not sought. And I have a problem with that. So yes, I'm opposed.
Okay, so many things are running through my head that I hope I can correctly get my point across. Is Common Core perfect? No. Is Common Core something that we need to implement? Yes. And so we need to take from that what we can. The thing I like about Common Core is that this was a set of standards developed by teachers across the nation. This is a wealth of knowledge that we have experts coming together and saying this is what kids need to learn by the end of this year, their second grade year or their fifth grade year or whatever. That's a great source of knowledge there. Why wouldn't we want that information? Along with that, the Utah Board of Regents has said that upwards of 40% of our incoming freshmen in college are not prepared for math and writing courses, college entry math and writing courses, and need remedial courses to help them get where they need to be. That's a large number. And so these core standards address those needs to prepare our students to be where they need to be when they graduate so that they can go on and be ready for college. That's a great thing. Why would we fault that? Now, do I want the federal government sticking their hands in to my personal business and my current area of where we are dealing with the situations that are here? No. Do we need some federal funding? Absolutely. And do we want to throw the baby out with the bathwater? We have the CTE programs that the federal government funds, and those things are well beyond what some of our other areas of education. Sorry, they're funded better than a lot of other things, and they have great programs there. So do I want the federal government overreaching their bounds? Absolutely not. Do I think it's great that we have a curriculum that nationwide we have that support of teachers and their input and their professionalism? Yes, that's great. Am I grateful and happy that within my own school district, within my local schools, that those teachers there who are aware of the needs of the community and the needs of their students can make those final decisions and decide what is going to work best for their kids? Absolutely, that's a great thing. So for me, yes, there are things that need to be adjusted and worked with Common Core. It's new, we're trying to figure things out. that parents have a voice to come and talk about those things and address those to people in their community schools and to our district. And so we have those opportunities to have input, but we also have a great resource of teachers and standards that have been set up to better prepare our students. And ultimately, my goal is to help promote the best possible education for our students in our district.
We need to have some sort of state standard. Currently, it's the state Common Core standards. They are in law. They've been in law since 2010. Representative Grover was one of the sponsors of the bill, and he is a vice principal at, it used to be Orem, I think it's Oak Canyon now. He's in our district. He's an educator. He thought that they were okay. Do I like them? Not all of them. There are some good parts. There are some bad parts. The good thing is that on average, our state standards change. And they change completely every 5 years or so. And they're always changing little things. They will look at the SAGE test scores this year, and then they'll change something in the standards to make the test scores better next year. We don't need the colleges and universities telling us what our state standards would be, and that's where we would be if we were to drop the Common Core standards right now, because we don't have anything to fall back on except the old standards under Nicholby, which nobody liked either. Do we want to have the college requirements for entrance being our standards, because they're less than what we have right now? But we do need to just remember that the standards, they come, they go, they grow. It's a breathing document. They will change as the needs change. They're going to look at it and they're going to say, you know, maybe we need to change the way the math is taught. Maybe this didn't work out right, and they put it back the way we all grew up. But that doesn't mean that that's where our kids have to stop. This is a minimum standard that they have to reach. It's a minimum. It's not the be-all, end-all. If your kid wants to take calculus and can do it, good for them. But they can get there.
I'm kind of for and against, which sounds kind of silly, and people might think I'm wishy-washy, but I'm not. Let me explain. We went to Magna for a short time when we moved here, and my kids in Oregon were at the bottom of their classes, the absolute bottom. They had one-on-one aides, they're autistic, and they couldn't do very much of anything. They went to Pleasant Green over in Magna, and they were at the top, of their classes. They wanted to take away their aides because they were so smart and they were doing so well in comparison to those other kids. And then that exact same school year, we moved to Cedar Ridge, and they were again at the exact bottom of the barrel and barely making it through and barely passing their classes. I think there has to be a common minimum standard that every school needs to teach at, that people are accountable for. That being said, I'm not necessarily for the federal government telling us what those Common Core standards are. I'm not necessarily for the state. I think we have the bare minimum that our kids need to learn, and then we need to, as parents and as teachers and administrators and as a school district, we need to decide what's good for us. Lone Peak, we're so more willing to be able to learn calculus and some high things. We need a literature. We need to know about Shakespeare and things, but we also do need to know about the, I hate whenever I forget a word, manual reading. What is that called? Informational text. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you very much. Informational text, because it's really sad whenever you have a kid, and I've helped these kids in these schools, even at Lone Peak, where they'll read a chapter and not be able to glean from it what the answers are in the back of the book. They need to be able to read things and be able to come up with the information that they need to be able to come up with from reading a textbook. I think that it's, I'm running out of time. I just think that it's something that we need to have. We have it. And now the main thing that I want to do if I'm on the board is to find out where we're falling short, make up the gaps, find solutions, think out of the box, fix what we need to fix, keep what needs to be kept that's working well, find out why it's working well for one teacher and not for another, and help teachers understand. If it's the curriculum, then we need to change it. If it's the standards themselves, we need to be able to raise them. We need to do what these kids need. Each kid is different. No square pegs fit in round holes. And we need to be able to adapt our education for each child so that we fit each child's educational needs so that they can better be prepared for their futures.